Hello, and welcome to Touchstone Business Sustainability Series, BSS. My name is Tunde Ojo, and I lead the Touchstone team. This hot afternoon from Lagos, Nigeria, is going to be a very, very engaging time because we have in the house a distinguished guest, and I'm so excited to know that this is going to be uh, a time of learning, a time of engagement. I'm so very, very excited. I'm going to introduce them shortly. This is Touchstone Business Sustainability, and this is in association with Master Skill Consulting. Thank you once again for joining us. Now, for those who are joining us for the first time, Touchstone is a global idea, brand strategy, and communication consulting firm, and we're in business to make our clients and their brands to be more successful in a complicated and changing world. And you agree with me that the world has become seriously complicated and constantly changing. Now, Business Sustainability Series is our initiative to dimension the key drivers of sustainable business growth in a world characterized by crisis, chaos, and complexity. We have been engaging entrepreneurs, business leaders, brand managers, and other professionals in their quest to finding solutions, not only to survive in a very difficult and challenging environment, but also to thrive. Once again, I want to thank you for joining this conversation. A little bit of housekeeping before we delve into the subject of today. We just want to please note that all microphones and cameras will be muted during the presentation, with the exception of those of the presenter and as well as the host. There will be Q&A session after the presentation. Questions and comments can also be posted to the chat room. This way, we are going to enjoy this program and have a very seamless interaction. Now, I once again welcome you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and I tell you honestly, let me quickly unveil to you a gentleman that you will enjoy listening to. There's no doubt about it. And I'm just going to give you a brief introduction of this gentleman before you will delve into the subject of today, which is identifying and managing risks for business sustainability. He's already in the room, and it's certainly going to be a good time. Mr. Olayinka Odutola actually will soon become Dr. Olayinka Odutola because he's a doctoral student. I'm sorry to embarrass you if I allow that to sneak into public. Olayinka Odutola is a professional banker and trainer with over 3 decades experience. Now, this cuts across enterprise-wide risk management, that is ERM, and Basel Accord framework design and implementation, credit risk management, credit policy, credit culture, risk research and training, sales, marketing, business development, branch, zonal, and regional management, banking operations, and the whole works. This is a man who has been a fantastic practitioner, banking practitioner for over 3 decades, and who, interestingly, he has moved over to become a regulator. He was at various times the chief inspector, head loan workout group, head enterprise risk management, regional manager, area business executive, branch manager, head of banking operation, head credit policy and culture, head research and training in his banking career. Now, this gentleman is the Director General and the CEO of Enterprise Risk Management Professionals. Now, let me say a little bit more about him. He's a board member of the Charter Institute. He's a council member of the Charter Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. He's a fellow of the same institute. He's a fellow Association of Enterprise Risk Management Professionals, which he leads. He's a fellow certified training professionals of the Finance Accreditation Agency, Malaysia. He's a full member of Nigerian Institute of Management, Chartered, and an associate member of numberless others. Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon is going to be very, 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 very engaging because we have in the house as our guest a man who has not just been a professional banker, but he has also moved to being a regulator in the area of risk management. If there's anybody who should be talking about risk management, I tell you, this is this gentleman. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, it's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Olayinka Odutola, the Director General and also the CEO of Enterprise Association of Enterprise Risk Management Professionals. On your behalf, I'd like to welcome him. He's going to unveil this. He's going to delve into this subject, and after we have an interaction. But just like I said, you can always put questions and comments in the chat room. Thank you and welcome, Mr. Odutola.
Thank you very much. I appreciate Pastor Tunde Ojo for this opportunity, and at least I've seen some people that have joined us. I can see Reverend Adegbeson. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on board, sir. Right. I wonder what I will say when Reverend Adegbeson, my Reverend, when he's here, right? But one way or the other, I believe that I will be able to chime in one or two things. And he also, as my Reverend Father in the Lord, he will be able to guide me. Right. Thank you once again, Touchstone TV, Touchstone Business Sustainability. What we are talking about this afternoon is one of the things that can enhance, that can sustain sustainability itself. Right. By the time you remove risk from everything, what are we talking about? Right. So this risk is a must, and we must factor it into whatever we are doing so that we can actually be able to achieve a business success. Thank you very much again. And I want to say that by the special grace of God, I wish we have a very good interaction this afternoon. Pastor Ojo has said it, that he will expect a good interaction. My style of teaching, one way or the other, I can ask questions from anyone, right, just to know whether people are actually following. At the same time also, right, when you see the questions, you understand, I will be able to respond as appropriate. Thank you, and God bless you. Right, look at it. I'm starting with this quote. Risk is like fire. If controlled, it will help you. And if uncontrolled, it will rise up and destroy you. Number one, is this true? Right. We need to subject all the quotes, to, a kind of a test, whether we really accept it, whether we approve it, or whether we have anything against it. Right. If we don't have anything against it, let us move forward. Risk is like fire. Fire is a necessity. Right? If you see the havoc that fire can cause, you will never want to move near fire in your life. Right? But fire is a necessity. Right? So instead of running away from fire, right, the best thing is to know how to control fire. When we control it, it will definitely help us. Right? But if we, leave it just that, and it's uncontrolled, then definitely it can have a damaging effect, just like risk. Let's just move on. Right. Okay, Warren Buffett, he came up with this. He said, risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. Right. Risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. So ignorance itself may constitute risk factors. And I can tell you that professionally, a lot have suffered, you understand, in risk management because of what? Due to ignorance, right? Just simply, investing in what you don't even know about, right? So that's why Warren Buffett said it, though it's debatable. Some will say, definitely, it's not compulsory for me to know, right? I can even know, that this thing is risky, and then eventually I also go into it, which is also very correct. But what we are talking about is that when we are dealing with risk, we should not act from the angle of ignorance. Compare these images. A ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. A ship is safe in the harbor, but is that the purpose of building a ship? This is credited to John Augustus Shed, about 1807. I cannot remember the exact date, right? So now look at yourself as a businessman, right? What do you prefer? Look at the ship that is safe in the harbor. Look at the one that is in turbulence. An average person, emotionally, we will surely want to choose one. I hope people can talk also, right? So that, I can. Pastor Tudejo, if I ask questions, can people be allowed? Are they unmuted?
A few, feel free. You can ask questions. People they can unmute. They should be able to unmute themselves and respond. Thank you.
Okay.
But thank you very much. It will be smoother if you, after your presentation, we can then have the engagement.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's just move on. Thank you very much. So a ship in harbor is safe, right? But that is not what ships are built for. You can see the ship that is quietly manufactured and put in the harbor, right? As long as it is there, it is very safe, right? But look at the other one, right? The ship is engaged. Let me take one thing about the reality of situation. If you want to achieve business success, definitely, right, you will not go left, you will go to the right. In terms of the image, on my side, it is the one on the right. It is full of turbulence, but it is definitely out of the turbulence, right? It is the turbulence, that we call the risk factor, right? And it is only that one that can eventually, right, make your business, make your return to be worth the while. We normally say the higher the risk, the higher the return, and all those things. Let's just move on. So, but a ship is safe in harbor. Imagine, right, if you just a bank, imagine if you're a bank, right, and you put your money, right, the bank says, oh, we cannot lend money. We are a bank, we are a microfinance bank, we are a mortgage bank, but because of the turbulence in Nigerian environment, it's better that we don't even lend our money at all. Let's just keep our money there. Let us keep it in the vault. Eventually, you can imagine what will happen to such a bank eventually. But if the bank continues to engage, right, the money, right, just like what I'm seeing on the right, you eventually know that such a bank will surely make profit. Again, look at yourself as a person. Naira to dollar in 2015, consider it, right? The black market rate as of January 2015 was about 211, right, from the report I saw. Now, in 2021, the last one I saw, maybe some few days ago, was 504. It could be lower now, it could be higher, right? So you earned your first $1 million in 2015 and testify that you are a millionaire, in quote, a millionaire in quote. You kept that money in the bank till 2021. As of today in 2021, are you still a millionaire in real terms? We have not even added inflation risk. By the time you consider inflation risk, right, you find out that as of today, right, you cannot say that you are still a millionaire. You put yourself in this situation because according to you, you are risk averse. You are not a risk taker. The question is, with your risk averse attitude, are you better now than in 2015? I want to say the answer is emphatically no. Most of us here that are familiar with the name of Esther in the Bible, right, will, not have known Esther. That is to say, if you are someone, a Christian that, you know what Esther is in the Bible, right? You wouldn't have known Esther, but for risk-taking, Esther said something. She said, I will go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And, the completing part of it, if I perish, I perish, right? And, Esther became someone that was reckoned by our people. And up to today, today's Christian, the future generation, right, of Christians, are those who are interested in Christianity and those who are Bible scholars, they will always refer to Esther. Esther, achieved that just because of what, right? Because of the fact that she took a risk. One thing about risk taking is that if you decide in your life, right, not to take any risk at all, then definitely it will be very hard, very difficult to achieve anything. What on earth is not risky, right? I can give you several examples. I'm sure that if every one of us are allowed, if we can talk, we can give, examples of everything in life, that is risky. I mean, some people will never want to go into marriage because of the fact that, oh, my uncle was destroyed by the wife. Even the person, that is next to the uncle, his junior brother, was also what killed the man, right? It was the wife. Because of that, I will never marry in life, right? The moment you do that, you are exposing yourself to more risk in life, right? There is no business, there is nothing, in life, one way or the other, that does not. In the spiritual, in the ministry, one way or the other, we take risk every day, right? Like I said, no risk, no return. So why can't we make up our minds to be risk taker so as to avoid poverty? There is no business. If you don't take any risk in business, you can definitely not call that one a business, because eventually the business will fold off, right? And that one will lead to poverty, and also, which is also a major risk itself. I want to believe that they say that whoever desires poverty, nobody is even risky. One of the highest risks you can run, right, is to actually be poor. Because poverty is, some people call it disease and all those things. Of course, because poverty, the entourage of poverty, sickness, disease, and every other thing, may that not be our point. What are we talking about? Because of the fact that you chose not to take risk. Modern businesses now face multitude, a kind of a diverse collection of obstacles and potential dangers. Right. What are the obstacles? We talk about external environmental issues, economic, socio-political, infrastructure, insecurity, unfriendly government policies, all leading to increasing risk and cost of doing business. We talk about technology, rapid improvement of technology. It has led to what we call obsolescence. Right. If you're not careful, right, when the MTN came up and whatever, when what do you call it, this issue of mobile came up in Nigeria, right, the days of not 9 knots, all those things and whatever, we had Nokia, we have Intercellular, we have all those things. At the end of the day, as of today, what are you looking at? If you have invested, maybe, you are a financier, right, you have invested, or a businessman, you have invested, let's say 10 million naira or 100 million naira in importing some kind of phone about 4 years ago. I can tell you, if you are not careful, right, the same phone as of today, if you import it, you will actually be in trouble. So, all these things are moving rapidly. Development in the local and global market due to interconnectivity. As of today now, right, there is interconnectivity. You want to speak to someone in America as at now, you can do that. You want to speak to someone in Europe immediately, you understand. About 30 years ago, it was not like that. About 40 years ago, definitely, you had to queue, for telephone and all those things. So all these things, they are very desirable, but again, they bring risk factors along with them. New businesses, new players, minor players, major players, you understand, and whatever, right? They also very good, right? New businesses must also spring up, but it leads to what we call competition, and there are also competition risks. We have regulatory issues, we have discriminatory policies, right? At times we say that some policies, that in the north, they dismiss it, they don't even follow it at all. As of today, in the south, if you do the same thing, you will be in trouble, etc., etc. But life is not about obstacles alone, right? Because, John Rockefeller, right? I'm not sure whether he's the first one that quoted this, but he quoted that the best way, right, to make money is to buy when blood is running in the streets, right? What is it talking about? Is definitely nobody desire that blood should be running on the streets. But what we are talking about, and what probably he's thinking about, is that, right, in times, at times, in times of panic, you know, that kind of thing, at times in times of panic and things like that and whatever, right, you can actually, right, you know, some people, they know that, oh, it may not be the end of the world. We have been talking about Nigeria situation, you know, Nigeria economic government and whatever, you know, not been doing well. It is not today. It has started for a very long time. But some people, you know, quietly, it is this same Nigeria that has produced the like of Dangotes, the like of Odutola, the likes of all those people that are nourish. It is this same economy, you understand, that has produced them. What are we talking about? Some people, they are actually sniffing for risk. You understand? They are looking for the time, you know, that they can strike. They are looking for the time, you know. So when everybody is saying, oh, this thing is risky, we are running away from it. Some people, it is then they actually go into those businesses, you know, and prosper. Right. So it's a question of perception. Strong struggle hard with uncertainties in the businesses. Imagine, you know, the image you are seeing, someone trying to climb, you know, trying harder, leading to more complex risk challenges for the organization. But some, they have factored risk into consideration. They are simply having fun. Please, any one of us here, when last did we see someone like Dangote, you understand, right, complaining bitterly? Right, he also has a way of passing information to the government. But what I'm talking about, complaining bitterly, the way we will likely complain and whatever the newspaper, oh, nothing is working in the country. Nothing is working in the country. You will see. Sometimes ago, I read something about the Lebanese. The Lebanese, right, they had scholarship, I think, for masters, maybe probably masters, MBA and things like that. They said, you know, for I cannot remember the number of people, the number of beneficiaries of that masters, right? So they said they are doing it for purely Nigerians and things like that. And eventually, right, they asked them, why are you doing this? You are Lebanese. And they said, oh, we have been in this country for a long time, and Nigeria has been a country that has prospered us. Nigeria has been a country that has prospered us. Why are they saying that? Because they are not looking at what we call the risk, right? You know, in the definition of risk, right? You know, there's an extension that says, you know, risk can actually, there are beneficial aspects of it. Risk create opportunities one way or the other. Right. So some are simply having fun. Few executives describe their organizational approach to risk management as mature or robust. Right. They have factored it into consideration. It is no more a threat to them like it is to an average man on the street. What they have looked at is that, what will this cost me? This risk, what will it cost me? And things like that. And eventually, you know, they factor it into their business and whatever, and they just move on. Right. So risk, if you look at, let's look at one or two definitions. Before I go to the definition, I want to say that risk management is as old as almost life, probably as life itself. Unconsciously, somehow, all of us have been managing risk one way or the other, almost since infancy. Almost since infancy. Consider this statement. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Can anyone tell me the origin of this statement? Do not put all your eggs in one basket. I've been hearing this statement as long as I've lived. Right. I am very sure that you could have found this statement, you know, right, from the primary school. Right. From the primary school. Right. Now, what are we saying? My father told me this statement. My mother, you will buttress it naturally. Right. Someone told my father and my mother. I'm sure it's their own parents too. Right? They got this from their own parents. Their own parents, right? That is my own grandparents, also got this information, got this word. You understand? So even from their own parents, even from their parents, you know, like, what are we talking about? Do not put all your eggs in one basket. That is risk management. That is risk management. That's why I said risk management is as old as one way or the other, right? We have been hearing it and we have been factoring it into our daily life unconsciously. Even some of our local proverbs are built around risk management. I'm a Yoruba man, right? Maybe someone can interpret it. Yeah. Someone will say that igi gogoro má gún mi lójú, right? Àtòkèrè láti wò, igi gogoro má gún mi lójú, àtòkèrè láti wò. If you don't understand, you can put it in chat so that you can put, the kind of English version, right? But it's just something like, if you, for this thing not to affect me adversely, I must have seen it from afar. I must have studied my environment. I must have factored it into consideration so that it cannot be a threat to me. Some will also say that ẹni tí ò bá ní jẹ́ ká jẹ, right? Ẹni tí ò bá ní jẹ́ ká jẹ, tí ò bá ní jẹ́ ká yó, right? Á kọ́ tiẹ̀ mọ́ oúnjẹ. Another Yoruba, I hope you permit me to say that. That is to say, right? I said earlier on, Dangote also, right? Manage risk one way or the other. In fact, a very huge, a very big risk manager, right? But what are we talking about? If this thing is going to work against me, let me factor this threat. Let me put it into consideration. Let me put a kind of premium. Let me be able to pay, for it, so that eventually, right, I will be able to manage it successfully and move, on my way. There are a lot. Okay, there's also a common sense approach to managing risk, right? There's a video I would have loved to show. Pastor Tunde Ojo sent a video to me yesterday. If it's possible, Pastor Tunde Ojo, along the line, you can just, put on the video, right? A common sense approach to managing risk, right? Pastor Tunde Ojo, are you there?
Okay. Yes, I am.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
that video you sent to me, is it possible to show it?
I'll see what to do. You can go ahead in the meantime.
Okay, sir. Okay. And maybe later also, maybe when I finish. Right. So there's a common sense approach to managing risk, like you will see in that video. So then, what is risk? Institute of Risk Management in UK define risk as the combination of the probability of an event and its consequence. Look at it. Probability, right? The likelihood of an event happening. And if it happens, what is the impact? What is the consequence? And I said earlier on, now it's muted here. Consequences can range from positive to negative. International Standard Organization, that 1000 code says, right? It defines risk as effect of uncertainty on objective. And again, it says that an effect may be positive, it may be negative, or a deviation from the expected. Also, risk is also often described by an event, a change in circumstance, or a consequence. Risk universe, all I can tell you, is almost unlimited. But one way or the other, we try as much as possible to just, describe it in one form, to categorize it in one form. Right? Operational, financial, strategic, compliance. Operational risk, right? Related to physical assets, hazard, information technology, people, supply chain, sales and marketing. That's why risk is in everything. Every step that we are making in business towards business success, definitely, right, there is a risk angle, right? And operational risk is one of the, in fact, in terms of popularity, in terms of relevance, operational risk is one of the major risks that are relevant that must be managed. Along the line, we will see why. Financial risk, look at market, look at the capital structure, look at tax and all those stuff. They are there. Strategic risk, right? Issue related to governance, merger and acquisition, market dynamics, communication, investor relations, and all those things. They classify them as under strategic risk factor. About decision making, putting, strategic thinking into consideration, putting the risk, in strategy into consideration. All these things will help business sustainability. And also, right, in that kind of environment, and in every environment, you cannot run away from compliance. It can be regulatory, legal, and the code of conduct, etc. Let's break it down further. Right, operational risk, right, described as the risk of loss resulting from inadequate or failed internal processes, people, system, or from external events. I said it earlier and I said operational risk is one of the most popular risk factors, definitely, right? And why? If I look at the definition, if you also follow me, you find out that there are some things that he mentioned. Internal process failure, right? When there's a process failure, it is risky, right? And processes can fail. Look at the second one that makes operational risk much, much more popular, and that is people, right? Let me tell you something. Most of the risk that are incurred, that happen one way or the other, can be traced directly or indirectly to people issues. Someone somewhere did not do what he's supposed to do at any point in time, or someone somewhere, one way or the other, was compromised, and things like that. I can tell you, right, it can lead to what we call, people risk. There is a particular organization, a religious organization, years ago, sometimes ago, that was some years ago anyway, right, from what I heard, they were holding a kind of a crusade regularly, and one of their crusades, right, it was a kind of I think monthly affair or some special program, right, So they now tried, to they found out that all the crusades that they have been having, they found out that there will always, be light issues. Right? Light will go off, and sometimes, they will have to be running around. Imagine you are having a kind of crusade and things like that, and you are running around, and, light goes off, and everything was just disorganized. So someone now entered the head of that religious organization. He said, "Sir, with all due respect, this thing can be managed. Instead of looking at the infrastructure, let us look at the people." And the person said, the man, "How? What do you suggest?" He said, "Don't worry, right? Bring some money, right? I will, work with some people, right? The people, the person that is leading, this team, engineering, technical, and all those things, let us mobilize them with some money, right?" And they gave them a lot of money, you understand, for this particular project. And I can tell you, from the night till the morning, I can tell you, they had a seamless operation. There was nothing. They really enjoyed the crusade. They really enjoyed the program. They really enjoyed everything. What is the difference? You understand? People. A lot of things that we are facing in the country as of today. You understand? Before you look at governance, look at the people. Right. So people risk as a major operation risk factor is one of the major causes of risk that, if you are able to tackle, right, can be helpful in business sustainability. Right. Of course, we have system risk. We have the issue of technology, system, what do you call it? At times, I went to a particular organization, a bank for that matter, right? Wanted to collect money sometimes ago, on a busy day, Monday, and they told me, "Oh, sorry, the system was down." System was down? Okay, what do you suggest? They said, "Okay, I'll come by 12. I didn't go by 12. I sent someone around 2 o'clock just to help me check and collect. When the person got there, they said the system was still down. Okay, don't worry. Let's give them the whole day. Give them Tuesday. By Wednesday, you understand? Got there again. Of course, by the time they got there, they were asking different questions. That the system was still down. Imagine the effect of that, right? That's why we call about risk interrelationship. Now, it started from operational risk, started from system risk, but definitely it's not going to end there, right? There are other things, Now, from the system, it becomes a reputational issue, and that's why we must not allow. If any risk want to happen, we must successfully, right, nip it in the bud so that it will not eventually affect the organization by leading to other risks that can be uncontrollable. Understand? Then we call some risk of external event. There's an example that I want to give along the line, right? So strategic risk of loss arising from a poor strategic business decision. A lot of organizations have actually failed due to what? due to failure in strategy. Right? You have a bad strategy, you may not survive it as an organization. You may not survive it. That's the thing. That's why you have to look. Someone came up with a quote, right? That guy is Gafik Paku. He said, linking strategy to risk. He said, any strategy that does not involve risk, right? A strategy, a decision that does not involve risk, right? He said, is probably not a decision. And what does it mean? Right. When you are deciding, you are strategizing about the future, how to move forward, how to do this. You are not looking at the risk involved. Right. What have you done? You have just wasted time. You have wasted resources. I can tell you, and it can lead to the downfall of that organization. There's a particular microfinance bank. That microfinance bank had only one branch, led by a woman, and they were enjoying themselves. But along the line, of course, everybody has growth potential, and one way or the other, you cannot be stagnant. So this organization started moving forward, right? They said, okay, they should, they wanted to have the second branch. They started it, the third branch. Before you know it, they started with one, but within just a few years, they had 8 branches in Lagos alone. But what happened eventually? They just sat down at a point in time that out of all these 8 branches, which one is actually making profit? Apart from the original branch, the first one, right? All other branches, they were actually making losses. At the end of the day, they didn't have any choice than to start closing them one by one. Eventually, it got back to only one. What are we talking about? One of the things that can threaten business sustainability is strategy, right? You look at the risk in all your strategies. If you don't look at it, eventually the strategy that you may think may eventually help you, may be the one that can destroy you, right? Then regulatory and compliance, in Nigeria, especially many of us are in Lagos, you find out that if you don't manage compliance risk, right, it can threaten the survival of your business. And that is just exactly what it is. Legal risk, lack of understanding of relevant laws guiding businesses. Right. You know that maybe you remember there is a particular case that in banking, Saraki, yes, that was a very long time anyway, Saraki versus Kotoye, right? This Saraki, I think, from what I heard at that time, the man, was a politician. I'm talking of the bigger Saraki, the elder Saraki, sorry, right? Elder Saraki was into politics. So maybe along the line, he needed someone that he can trust. Of course, his friend, right? He had a friend that he can just say, okay, please, while I'm in politics, continue, I think it was, something about to do with Society General Bank, right? So at the end of the day, one thing or the other, Saraki was in politics, the man continued. At the end of the day, somehow, Saraki now came back to resume, to collect his share back in the Society General. What happened? The man, Kotoye, refused, and it became a very long legal battle. Right. I regard it here in the slide as incorporation trap. Incorporation traps, right? At the time you are incorporating your business, right? You know that some of us, we are actually careless. And some, it is after incorporation, we are carrying out our business and want to, kind of, one way or the other, there are some developments that we want to manage and we want to trust some people. And actually, right, it is the people that we trust, that will eventually fight us. Some of us may not even live to survive it. Maybe the person that established the business had some friend, they were there together, right? And suddenly the person died, right? And when the person died, the people that took over the business, of course, they have always been there, right? They could not disclose the true owner of the business to the son or the daughter or the children of the wife of, the person that died. And the person that happened to be the major financier is the number one in that business. But because of the fact that the children, the family, they are not carried along. So legal risk At times, because we are working one way or the other, some people will come to us, let me establish a business for you. Let me establish this for you. Let me incorporate a business for you and things like that. Some of these people may be lawyers. Of course, lawyers are doing fantastic job. Do you know that some of these people that incorporate business for some of us, they're not even lawyers, right? And they will just give you something, okay, sign this, don't worry. And because you are too busy, right? You just said, okay, what do I sign? This and that. Okay, the person will say, give me, we need about 4 directors, about 5 directors. So suggest names. Oh, don't worry, myself, my uncle, my this, my this. None of them is your child. None of them is your, what do you call it? Is your very, very close person that is trusted, right? At the end of the day, you just sign and all those things, and you have forgotten, you continue the business. It is eventually when something that, so what are we talking about? We are talking about business sustainability. What can threaten it? Legal risk is something that we must also know. Again, right, we can establish our businesses without taking the law, the local law, into consideration. And if you do that, it can also affect you. Just like if you are establishing a brewery in the northern states in Nigeria, right? Do you know their law? Is it not, whether they are brewery friendly or anti-brewery and all those things? You must take it into consideration. Reputation risk, the risk to the reputation of an organization. I wrote hidden charges here deliberately because in my constituency, banking industry, you'll find out that, of course, there was a time that Central Bank of Nigeria, right, helped the bank in recovering about $9 billion within a very specific period. $9 billion hidden charges. You understand, right? And I'm not talking of banks that are not reckoned with. Many banks that were caught, right, are even banks that we regard as first-class banks. Let me tell you, in my church, right, there was a time we were having a program with the teens. So we were asking questions, right? And we just said, okay, if as a teenager, we just suddenly, as an undergraduate in the university, you suddenly see 5 million naira in your account, what will you do? 5 million naira. I cannot forget the answer of one young girl. Right. That young girl said, well, it depends on the bank. When she said that, every one of us, we have to look at that direction. Depends on the bank. You are a Christian. They gave you 5 million naira, credited your account. You understand? What will you do? Immediately you see that credit. That little girl says, sir, I'm saying it depends on the particular bank. They now said, okay, let's see how you much. She said, if it is so bank, right? If it's happened by weekend, by Monday, I will be the first person in their office. I will let them know so that they can do the normal entry and reverse it. But if it is this bank, and this bank, right? This thing happened some years ago. I am a live witness, right? The girl said, I will not refund the money. He said, why? And she now told them, our gathering that day, including myself, that the thing is that she was on the 5,000 naira maybe per quarter that his father was giving her. So out of this 5,000 naira, you will not believe it that this particular bank, where she kept her money, right? By another 3 months, right, they will have reduced it by almost half. Whereas she just left the money there without doing anything. She now said, if that happens, what of those who are having millions in that kind of bank? What are we talking about? The bank will not know that the reputation, you understand, whatever you do, definitely, eventually, will become a public issue, right? Especially in this social media era, right? So we need to guide, if we want our business to survive ages, right? Then we need to look at the reputation, right? Look at what happened to Enron, Level Brothers. That is Unilever, I think, in those days, right? Eventually, it affected their reputation so much, but because, Lever Brothers in Nigeria, one way or the other, it was a very strong brand, that it affected them, but they survived it. Enron could not survive it. That is abroad, right? So we must be looking into our reputation, no matter what kind of business we are doing, whether small, medium, or big. Credit risk, the potential that a borrower or a control party will meet its obligation, will not meet its obligation in accordance with agreed terms. That's it. It may be a bank you are financing, people are not paying. It may be, you are an FMCG group, a company, right? and all your products, people are buying on credit. You understand? They are not eventually bringing it back. They are not paying you back. Of course, it will affect what you are doing. So one of the ways to look at business sustainability is what credit are you giving and what is the percentage that is coming back before you know whether you are going to take some decisions along the line. Liquidity risk, of course, potential for loss to a business organization. It can be a bank arising from inability to meet its financial obligation. It can be anyone, right? The moment you are out of liquidity, then you are in trouble, right? Market risk, volatility in price of equities, commodities, forex, interest rate, and all those stuff, right? You know, the market is mostly, right, volatile in most cases. You'll find out that today, oh, it can down, it be up, tomorrow it can be down, and all those stuff, right? So at any point in time, an investor is subject to market risk. We also have what we call marketing risk, right? Look at branding, labeling, communication in marketing business, right? You are over-promising. Your organization is fond of over-promising, right? And eventually, when it comes to delivery, right, you know, you cannot deliver, right? This thing will surely, when people now eventually could not trust your offering, then that organization is in trouble. So it's better to under-promise and over-deliver rather than over-promising and under-delivering, right? You know, then who are the people that you're partnering with? Also, whatever happened to their image will happen to your own image too, right? So rating risk, right? You almost be conscious of your rating, right? If your rating is not good, it's a question of time, right? Before the market react against you. Then obsolescence, I've mentioned it earlier on, right? Someone somewhere may find a way to do a similar product at a cheaper price, right? It happened in technology, a laptop, computer, all these IT things, right? The moment, right, your own run into obsolescence, then definitely the whole investment will be in vain. Risk management means taking a deliberate action, right, to mitigate or reduce the impact of loss, right, as a result of the occurrence of a risky event, right? It's again referred to as coordinated activities to direct and control an organization with regard to risk. Risk can be mismanaged. Look at the image here. Look at the image here, right? Mismanagement of risk. Right, if all of us are allowed to talk, you will know this place where this thing happened. You understand? You found out that, in Lagos State, in Nigeria, that this thing is, let me just say, maybe probably peculiar. I'm not out of place if I say it's peculiar to Nigeria. This thing is a killer at any point in time. But what are we saying? Is the government helpless about it? People will carry a trailer load of containers, and this thing has destroyed. Mostly it has fallen on people, fallen on vehicle, killed, and whatever, that kind of thing. This is a risk that definitely is not something that cannot be managed if we put everything into process. Risk management process, right? Establishing context, identifying the risk. Let's just go through it, right? Establishing the context. Before you can manage risk, right, you should be able to define the relationship between your institution and the environment. What are we talking about? You must be able to look at the environment in which your organization operates. You must be able to look at the objectives, the core activities, and operation of the institution. Then risk identification. Another step. This involves the process of taking inventory of all risk in an organization. Identification should include all risk, whether or not they are currently being managed. Every one of us, no matter the level of our organization, no matter the type of organization, whether it's a small, medium, or big enterprise, right? You can do a kind of risk identification exercise, right? Everyone, every stakeholder, every staff in the organization, you can come around and say, what are the risks, right, that are peculiar on your desk, right? As a security man, what risk are you looking at, right? As a driver, what risk are you looking at? As the receptionist, what risk are you looking at, right? So every one of us, we definitely can do better when it comes to the issue of risk identification. We only fail when you only set up maybe one or two people to identify the risk that the organization is taking. You won't go much, you won't achieve much success in that kind of area. right? So risk analysis, after identifying, analysis can involve combining the possible consequences. We saw it in IRM definition, right? What is the likelihood of this risk occurring? And what, if it occurs, what are the consequences? Now, you have this matrix that we can use for risk identification, risk analysis, I mean, right? You look at the probability and you look at the impact, right? The probability of occurrence, likely occurrence may be rare, may be unlikely, may be moderate, may be likely, may be very likely. So what happens if it is very likely that it will occur, but the impact is trivial, then it becomes a medium risk. If it is very likely that it will occur, but the impact is major, then it becomes a high risk. That is exactly what this is for. There are a lot of matrices, but just an example to guide us. Risk evaluation involves comparing the level of risk found after analyzing the risk. You have already set up a criteria. You have said, okay, in all these things that I'm selling, my collection rate is this, right? If I cannot achieve bad debt, bad debt in my business. If the bad debt in my business, the bad debt is, I don't want it to be more than 10%. You have set up that one. If it is more than 10%, right, then you will not touch it. Is it that you exit that kind of business, or those people that you are selling to, you look, into another environment and you kind of excuse yourself in that kind of environment. What are we talking about? Or there's a product that you are actually looking at and you do an evaluation, right? And you find out that, oh, it does not pay you, based on the criteria, that you have set for yourself. Then you take action. What are the actions that you take, right, in risk management? When you are faced with risk management options, what are the options that you can take? One, you can transfer a risk. Outsource some of your business, some of the things that banks are doing and other organizations, are doing, training institutions, a lot of organizations, right, logistics organizations and things like that. Some of them, they outsource, right, just for you to be able to manage some risk. If your organization is not a core IT organization, but you have some IT components of your job, of your business, but you are not specialist in it, you can outsource it. Right. Then you can also do a kind of insurance. That's why people insure their vehicle. Oh, instead of me just trying to search myself for managing risk, let me actually, insure. Then you accept. That is another option. When you accept, you know that this risk is real and there's nothing you can do about it. Definitely, it is very, very essential for my business success. Then you accept and you monitor. Then also, you can reduce some risk also. You can say, okay, let me partner with some people, right? In terms of banking, we call something consortium lending, right? We can say loan syndication and all those things. Yeah, about partnership, right? We can find a consortium instead of me, right, as an organization, right, taking the liability of, let's say, 10 billion naira. I can say, no, let's just take that 10 billion naira and let me just divide it into 5 places, so that the highest person will have 2.5, the lowest person have 500 million and all those things. So that one, you have reduced, your level of participation and whatever. Then you can avoid, that is to say, get out of that situation. If you look at the matrix, right, when you see red, this one, red, anything, probability, very likely, impact, right, major, especially, extreme, especially. What do? You can avoid that kind of thing. You can get out of that situation entirely. That's something we call enterprise risk management, right? Enterprise risk management, right? It's a kind of a process. I'm looking at the definition of COSO. COSO means Committee of Sponsoring Organization of the Tradeway Commission. It's just telling us that, there are risks that are affecting the enterprise. And every side of the enterprise, every department, every faculty, every, part of the enterprise, right, has one kind of risk. Look at the definition. It's a process effected by the board of directors, management, and other personnel, applied in a strategic setting and across the enterprise, designed to identify potential events that may affect the entity and manage risks to be within the risk appetite to provide reasonable assurance regarding the achievement of the entity objectives. It is designed again to identify potential events that may affect the organization. In your desk, what are the potential events that may affect that organization? In your department, what are the eventually, the potential events that may affect the organization, right? In a particular school, I think it's now more than even one, right? In Nigeria, right? You see that issue of rape. Imagine a lecturer raping a student, right? What are we talking about? Enterprise risk management can be deployed in our organization, right? In a particular religious organization, right? Someone raped inside the premises of that organization, right? We can deploy enterprise risk management. When you are doing ERM, you are not taking anything for granted. Risk can occur from anywhere, from the least expected. Imagine a student that went to a lecturer. I cannot even remember whether it is evening or I am not sure at all whether it is in the night. It's not likely at all. And the person was raped. You understand? If I remember very well from what you got on the press, in the room of the lecturer. What are we talking about? Enterprise risk management. In your organization, in your department, in your business, it can happen. Anything that can threaten the existence of your business, factor it into consideration. Look at risk globally. Look at enterprise management. Look at risk. From the helicopter point of view, you can look at it. What risk can affect this organization from the least to the greatest, from the greatest to the risk? What are the benefits for the enterprise management? Major, many, right? But you can just look at just few. Right? Assist management, utilizing risk management and strategy, enhance risk response decision, reduce operational surprises and losses. If you put ERM into place in your organization, right, definitely operational surprises, losses, right, will be reduced drastically, right? Identifying and managing, right, cross-enterprise risks, protect and build shareholder value. It helps in building investor confidence, right? Nowadays, if you want to raise money, whether local or global, one way or the other, internal or external fund, they want to see what element of enterprise risk management have you put in place. They want to see your framework. Right. If the framework, shows that definitely you are an organization, a business organization that has considered enterprise management, definitely you are likely to succeed in achieving more credits, you understand, more flow of capital to your organization. Just like a nation, Nigeria as a nation, we can also do that. We can copy ERM templates. We can deploy it in this Nigeria. We can use it to solve a lot of Nigerian problems. Look at it. ERM, look at risk as risk, right? If Nigeria want to adopt ERM, you will not see something like insecurity, they are doing one here. When they are tackling one here, another one is happening here. When they are tackling another problem here, another one is coming. No, because everything will be considered under the strategy in Nigeria as of today. They will look at it strategically. What are the risks that can affect this country as a whole? Right? And they will look at it, security, they will look at it, infrastructure, financial, whatever it is. You understand that kind of thing, right? They will be able to factor it in all planning purposes, and if they are sincere, it can be lost out. Focusing the attention of the organization on the most significant risk. It's a common language which is understood throughout the organization. It improves capital efficiency and resource allocation. It reduces cost of capital. Right, through managing risk. If you entrench governance, if you entrench ERM, definitely one way or the other, your cost of raising funds from the public, right, will be minimal because you will be a trusted and respected organization. However, despite the fact that it is very good, what are some of the challenges that ERM are facing in the organization? Right, most organizations, the people at the top, they may not even believe in it. So if they don't believe in it, they will be giving you negative signals. Right? So we need strong and visible commitment from top management. We call it tone at the top. What are the people at the top dictating? Right? It is to say, do what I say or do what I do. Right? It is very, very essential. Right? If they don't take it serious at the top, definitely people at the lower level, it will cascade down there. More than executive management attitude to risk. Right? Again, related to tone at the top. What is the board saying about risk? What is executive management attitude to risk taking, right? It will cascade down, right, to the last man on the in the organization. Clarity of expression of appetite in terms of what risk the organization is willing to accept and what risk it is not willing to accept. One of the things that makes risk management to be problematic, right, is that we don't even, define an appetite for people that are following us, right? We don't define an appetite. What do I mean? Right, there are some things that can be no-go areas. Some people will say that, okay, we want to make money. We want to make 1 billion naira in the next 1 year. But there's a caveat. Anything that will make us to visit EFCC, interrogation, right? Because of the fact that we are exposed to political people, we don't want it. So avoid exposure to politically exposed people and all those things, right? You have defined an appetite. You have looked at it that we are not going into this kind of business and all those stuff. So let it be clear, right? So that people that are following you, you will know that definitely, right, they will know what to do. But when it's not clear, the organization can be in trouble, right? Central broad oversight of risk management across the enterprise. Are some people in charge? Are they looking at it one way or the other? Is there broad oversight of risk management? Are some people definitely taking notes, you understand, and deploying resources, right, and scanning through, right? That one can also help. Establishing a risk management function that is independent of risk takers, right? What are we talking about? There are some people that, okay, just like in a manufacturing company, the people, sales and marketing, right? They are the ones, that will give credit. They are the one that will follow up on credit. And they are the one that will institute everything, the control and all those things. No, let them give it. Let them follow up. However, let there be some other people, right, that can also carry out that risk management function independently, because they are the direct risk takers. You understand that kind of thing. It's just like you are talking of an organization probing itself. It's not the best. That's why they need external consultants. They need, people, what do you call it? Auditors and all those things to come and actually look into their finances. If not, right, you cannot be the one that is incurring the risk, and also you will not be honest. And that's what we are talking about. So way out, risk appetite must be communicated to us staff, just like I've suggested. There must be established criteria for measuring performance against the appetite. If we say, right, in our organization, because we give credit, our bad loan, right, or bad credit that we are given, the percentage must not be more than 10%. By the time they're going to 25%, you know that definitely you are doing the wrong thing. Then you have to take action. But if you do not establish a criteria, you will not even know. Training and education, right, must be regular. Previously, the main focus of risk management was preventing the erosion of value and minimizing risk to an acceptable level. However, today, ERM is vital to strategy and identification of opportunities to create and maintain value. I said some people recognize opportunities in risk, and as a business person, I want to encourage you to look at that. Risk is not all about negative. If it is that, you will not see Chinese people coming into Nigeria. You will not see people, from Lebanon and all those things coming into Nigeria. You won't see foreign investors at all. But some investors are looking at it that no matter what's happening, right, we can still manage the risk. When we are able to manage risk, definitely we will be able to achieve business success in Nigeria. I want us to just look at this video, right, quickly, and that is the end of that paper. Let me look at the video, please. Let's look at the video. Let's look at the video. Just a minute, please. Yeah. two video. Look at that one. That one was sent to me by Pastor Tunde Ojo. He said someone sent it to him. Right, look at that one. I said sometimes that risk management can be commonsensical. Look at it again. Let's look at it again. Right, before the second one, let's look at it again. It can be commonsensical. Right. Just sorry. Okay, let's look at another one. Look at this video again. Listen and look at this video, please. This is a small baby. Look at it as a business person. You are a novice in business. This baby is young. You can imagine the baby's age. Right. Picture. Let me go back to picture 10 years. Yeah, picture. Yes. Right. Hope you are able to see that small baby.
Yes.
And what lesson is the baby teaching us in risk management?
Amazing.
What baby? A baby. Look at it again. Maybe some of us did not see that video. Right. Let's show it again. I said risk management can at times be commonsensical. Look at the baby. How old is this baby? How many years? Right. It's just like yourself. Put yourself as a businessman, as a businesswoman. Right. Look at yourself as this baby, total novice. Right. And let us see the lessons. Let's discuss the lessons the baby has taught us in risk management. Quickly. Thank you very much. I want reactions. Thank you very much. God bless you. That is the end of that presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the audience.
Thank you. This is great, Mr. Olayinka Odutola. Great session. Great session. I wish I could bring all professionals in, that I know to be part and parcel of this. This is what we call drive-through MBA. This is quintessential BSS. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to say a big thank you to our guests for today, for telling us how to identify and how to control risk and manage risk for sustainable business. I mean, I can't get over this. I just can't get over this. This has been a wonderful. I mean, the only thing that is spinning me is I wish everybody on this platform, and we have about 1,000 people on this platform, could jolly well have joined us. Now let's quickly have an interaction. Thank you very much. We pray that your doctoral process, so that we can easily. There's no doubt about that. This has been very doctoral in nature and fantastic time. Once again, on behalf of everyone on this platform and the entire team at Touchstone Business Sustainability, a huge thank you to Mr. Odutola. A couple of questions I hear, and I want a comment. Oluseyi Olaniyan, thank you, sir, for the insight to risk identification and management. Thank you very much, Oluseyi. Babawande Majekodumi, thank you, sir. Many thanks for demystifying ERM. Thank you very much. That's great. This is Dr. Adirayo. He's an intellectual. Highly enlightening presentation. God bless the presenter. Thank you very much, Dr. Adirayo. Adegoke Omotola, to everyone, thanks for adding value. Thank you. Oluwaseyi, to everyone. Are the soft skills we can adopt for increasing an organization or individual's risk appetite? Are there soft skills we can? So that's our first question. Are there soft skills we can adopt for increasing an organization's or individual risk appetite? Thank you once again, Oluseyi, for joining us. Do you have more questions or comments? This has been a wonderful, I mean, every moment of this session is worth it for me. I don't know about you. So can you quickly take on that question? I can tell you that we're bringing you back. We are suddenly bringing you back. This is too loaded. This is just too loaded. So let's.
Pastor, you have started again, no?
And I believe that everybody here agrees with me. This is drive-through MBA. The MBA you get just like that on managing risk. It's amazing. It's very applicable to life, applicable to ministry, applicable to family, applicable to everything. I have learned a lot, and I believe also so. Oladipo Abiodun, awesome session. Thank you very much, sir, for your comment. So can you quickly take on that question? A lot of people must have thought, risk management, what would they be talking about? Will it be too technical and all of that? And that's why some of them are not here. But I tell you, by the time they hear of this, when next we talk about risk management and we say, this is Mr. Risk himself coming to talk to us, they certainly will be here. Adebola Onyoriso, eye-opener, fantastic. Thank you very much. So are there soft skills we can adopt for increasing an organization's or individual's risk appetite? It's a question from Oluseyi Olaniyan. Can you?
I would like to just direct him to get across to me later. You understand? Okay. Exactly. We are a professional body.
That's right.
Right. A professional body, the Association of Enterprise Risk Management Professionals. You understand? So every aspect of risk, right? All the skills that are needed, you understand, right? You get it there, right? So he can actually get back to me. It's an opportunity to tell people also that,
Please, I want you to talk about that.
Yes,
can you please talk about the association and how people can, whether they are finance professionals or not, please.
Yeah.
For the next 2 minutes or so, can you talk about
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Honestly, I'm encouraged by all the comments. I mean, thank you very much.
This is another one, Babatunde Owe here to everyone.
Yes.
Encouraging.
This is
encouraging. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's the beauty, and that's the beauty. I love the person that also talked about demystifying ERM. You understand? Because when we hear risk management, When people talk about risk management, you understand, you think that it is only for statisticians, you understand, right? But our professional body, Association of Enterprise Risk Management Professionals, AERMP in Nigeria, right? We have among us, we have, of course, the bankers, the finance professionals, right? We have, you will not believe it, the medical professionals. We have lawyers. We have estate agents. You understand? We have, architects. We have what there is no professional. You understand? There's no profession, let me say, that is not represented in our organization. And the last induction that we did, right, we have people that came from Eco Electricity, you understand, right? We have people, risk managers, from Dangote, right? Risk manager from Airtel and all those things, right? What are we talking about? To tell you that enterprise risk management is for every one of us, right? No matter your profession, no matter your portfolio, whatever you are sitting on, are you not managing risk? Are you not incurring risk? Are you not threatened by risk one way or the other? Are you not looking into solutions, how to provide the solutions, how to manage the risk? That is why risk professionals will always sell, right? I challenged someone at this hospital, what do you call Lasut, right? Challenged someone at Lasut Hospital. I said, if people, doctors, medical professionals, if a lot of them are keyed into risk management, enterprise risk management, you understand, for the health sector, right? What happened the time of COVID, right? The way it's actually, killed a lot of healthcare professionals, it will not have that kind of devastating effect. Because you would have been, I think I told you, I gave a proverb the other time. I said, igi gogoro ma gún mi lójú, àtòkèrè la ti ń wò ó. Risk management is commonsensical. People in health sector, they are dealing with diseases, they are dealing with all these things, you understand? Right. So at any point in time, you must be prepared. You must look at it as a pharmacist, as a doctor, right? That what are the risks involved in this our profession? You understand? People in hospitality business, right? You must look at it. You are exposed to the whole world. People coming to you, they bring people. Some people bring girlfriend, boyfriend, and all those things. Look at what happened recently, right? Is it Lekki or Banana Island? That a lady and a guy rented an apartment, and before you know it, the guy was found dead. We must be risk aware. We must be risk conscious. Do you understand? Right? That's why I will want every one of us that are listening, no matter, right, your profession, no matter what kind of business you are doing, right, to join the Association of Enterprise Risk Management Professionals. We recognize, that each profession, right, each business has its own peculiar kind of risk. So our examinations are tailored towards that, right? Our examinations are tailored to that. Then also, we use maturity in also considering people for our membership grade. What do I mean? If a person graduated about 15 years ago, you have practiced one way or the other, you have been in this kind of business, you have been in real estate, you are this and that, you understand, right? Whether finance or banking or not, or whatever business you are doing, right? 15 years after graduation, right? We will not expose you to the kind of the normal examination, which is for new entrants, right? So your own will be you will go through some kind of lectures and you will present, papers definitely on enterprise risk management, and it will be judged, you understand, right? Corrected and whatever, and eventually you can be absorbed as a member. But if, right, you are just coming in, right, from the university, right, a fresher, everybody under 5 years, everybody under 10 years, you will do the regular competitive examination to join at our associated level. You understand?
Okay,
so that kind of
thank you very much. Because of our time, can you can you put something that you can that people can follow, whether it's your telephone number or your
Okay,
email
let me
and
just
all
quickly
that.
put in the telephone number so that we can continue to, talk about this later. You understand? Right. The telephone. Yes,
thank you.
sir. Okay, to type it right. Okay, I'll just type it right.
Okay, yes. You just put it on the screen so that people can take advantage of that. I want to say a big thank you once again to you. I want to say a big thank you to Dr. Tony Alabi, who sent me the first video, which I share with our distinguished guest speaker. And it's been very, very graphic to see how you can, just like you said, on a daily basis, prevent risk. And not just say, like many of us Christians say, not my portion, and you're not doing anything about it. Of course, if you're praying about it, you also must be taking the corresponding action. That is Christianity that combines both faith as well as reason, a faith as well as works. And that I can't thank you enough. Distinguished guest speaker, like I said, we certainly will be talking about risk some other time, and we will be glad to bring you back. He has sent this. His telephone number is on the is already in the chat room. 07088905252. That's and then the WhatsApp is 07046226901. You can call. Then
no,
yes.
The second one is the call. The first one is WhatsApp.
It's the WhatsApp. Okay. All right. So
okay, sir.
It's to everyone. If you just will look at the chat room, and I've also tried to call that. 07088905252. That's the WhatsApp. And then 0704-622-6901. Thank you. ERM is firefighting science. The firefighter warns of potential fire risk, advises on what things to put in place to mitigate likely outbreak of fire, among others. My mischievous thought as a novice, what's your take on this? Yemi Shotade is saying ERM is firefighting science. The firefighter warns of potential fire risk, advises on what things to put in place to mitigate likely outbreak of fire, among others. He said, that's my mischievous thought as a novice. Will you say is correct or is not correct?
This person is no more a novice, so. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right. The only thing I have to add is also not only advice, you understand, but in some organizations, you understand, if you have a structure, ERM structure, you don't only advise, right? You will also enforce, you understand, right? One way or the other, you don't only advise, you must also enforce so that people will not ignorantly destroy their organization by their inability, right, to follow ERM principles and concepts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Odutola. I want to bring this to a close. I want to say a big thank you to Reverend Digbeson, who was the very first to join us. A great man who has been of tremendous support, to us. And you also have in the chat room the email address, and then as well as the personal email address. I can't end this program without saying a big thank you to my colleagues from the Touchstone hand that have made this happen every Saturday. It's a whole lot of work. Deepo, I want to say a big thank you to you. Muiwa, I want to say a big thank you to you and the rest of the team at the Touchstone end. Join us once again next week as we have another exciting time. Please, whatever it is that you are learning, just make sure it's for the benefit of your business and all of those who are around you, your family, and so that our society can be a lot better. Mr. Kiomolere, the Lord bless you. Thank you for all of you joining us. I once again wish you a more fulfilling weekend. God bless you. Thank you. And once again, our speaker, Mr. Olayinka Odutola, the Director General as well as CEO of the Association of and enterprise risk enterprise risk management professionals. Thank you very much for all the intellectual fireworks and the practical application. God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
God bless you, sir. Thanks so much, Pastor Tunde. Thanks to God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Have a good